Good morning, day 178, cold exposure. A little different space, but I got up this morning and the electrician came for this light. It was out and he just replaced it. And then I got the front and back mowed. And so the dogs are out there now, so I have a little peace and quiet. Got my cold shower done. Sometimes on my days off, I like to do a couple things that are important for the day first, and then I take my cold shower instead of just trying to prioritize that and then other things distract me. Also got my Bible reading done, and we're coming up on, I guess we already passed it, but just a little bit past 6 months since I made my video. So this is like my Jordan year halfway mark. And I'm just gonna read through, I had 23 goals that I set for myself. Some of them, I think I might have changed my perspective on now, but I'm gonna read those and then I have some notes for each of them. I'm actually just gonna read the goal and then I'll read my notes for it and we'll just go through that way. So my first one was to reach 1,000 followers on a platform, and YouTube is my best right now. And when I made the 23-year Jordan year video on my birthday, I had 47 subscribers, and now we're at 441. So that's about 10x from what I had, and I attribute a lot of that to just consistency. A big part is the ice baths. Those were doing really well until we had to switch, and then cold showers are not the most entertaining videos, but it's something that I told myself I was going to continue regardless if the situation wasn't as good as before. So really happy about that. Even if we don't get to 1,000, I'm blown away by how many of you guys actually watch my videos. My second one was the ATG standards. So if you don't know Knees Over Toes guy, he does a lot of things for bulletproofing body parts like knees, ankles, hips, shoulders, all of it. And the ones that I wanted to improve on were the ATG split squat, because my hip flexors are really tight and I think a lot of my postural issues come down to that. You can look all these up. ATG, I think it's Athletic Training Group, but it's also like ass to grass. Excuse my language. The Nordic curl, which is, I have a little contraption that goes under a door. You put your feet under it and you resist on the way down, and then a lot of people can't curl themselves back up, but I'm just working on resisting on the way down and strengthening up the back of the knee. Jefferson curl, it's like a deadlift, but your back rounds all the way down, and optimally you'll want your wrists to go past your ankles. That one, I really just want to build up the whole posterior part of my back. Seated good morning, just to open these hips up while keeping a straight back. Just an actual deadlift, because I've not prioritized that before in my life, and I think it's a fundamental movement that I want to be able to do. Training my hip flexors to actually be able to reach higher up and get closer to my body. That's just, a lot of his stuff is focusing on the opposite part of the body that we overtrain. So a lot of people only do quads but don't do hamstrings. That's where the Nordic curl comes in. Or we're always in this seated position but we never train to be able to bring it closer. So a lot of it is just balancing out the sides of the body, and a lot of these movements aren't ones that people are taught about or know why they are effective. Tibialis, which is the front of the calf, which raises the foot closer. That's why a lot of people have ankle mobility problems, because they don't train the front side of their calf, they just train the back. Trap 3 raise, which is like a Y raise, which gets down into the lower part of the traps and helps with this motion. Also, external rotation, especially for arm wrestling. For me, there's a lot of internal rotation, so I want to be able to have this motion good as well to keep the shoulders healthy and in line. My next one is blood work, and it's not something that I have pursued yet. I'm really interested to see where my levels are, because this is the best I've ever felt. I know a lot of it is my mental health now, but I'm not concerned about anything. I just want to kind of get a benchmark, and I think that'll be maybe around after Hawaii, which is in September. So somewhere around there. I would have liked to get it done earlier. It just wasn't lining up with all the things I have going on. Next is build nutrition plans. This is going to be my project for next Wednesday. Once I looked back at this, I realized that I hadn't been doing anything for it, and I want to build a couple different ones for different specific goals, whether it's a woman that just wants to be healthier, or a man who's trying to build muscle, or a man who wants to lose weight, those kinds of specifications. My next one was coach 10 clients. And I think this was a bit of an ambitious goal for me. As I'm still trying to build this platform, I want to make sure I'm ready before I jump into something like that. I'm going to be doing a wellness coach certification, and I want to make sure I'm fully qualified before I start trying to change people's lifestyles. So if that happens by November, I would be thrilled, but if not, I know that I'm setting myself up for the future. My next one was grow herbs, and we actually have a raised garden bed, 2 tomato plants in pots, and a little bed for bell peppers and hot peppers. In the raised bed, we had chives and basil, but I think birds or something's digging holes and getting those out, so won't actually have any herbs, but I can also buy like a little chive plant or something like that. But we do have carrots, beets, summer squash, and zucchini, and those are all flowering up pretty nicely, so I'm excited to see what gets produced there. Number 7 was grow personally, and I can't even express how different my life is since November. Since cutting out negative habits, replacing those with good habits, and just my overall life experience is not even close to the same. I attribute a lot of it to coming back to Christ and getting back in church and having all these things just fall into line, and being thankful and expressing gratitude, and really taking time to myself to enjoy this season, meditating, putting myself first for my healthy habits, and like getting to bed on time, and the cold exposure, and it honestly feels like a different lifetime. Like I'm not the same person at all, and it's just so lovely. Like it just makes me so happy every day. I'm just getting better and better, and it's a great feeling. Just back to November, I was just seeking dopamine and not getting anything done that I wanted to. I still tried to put myself first for my health, but I was still smoking weed and just not progressing at the rate that I wanted to. Number 8 is get to 200 pounds. And this morning I was 187.8. I have just had coffee and some water today, and I'm right at 187. So a little bit more bulking period. I've gotten up to a little bit over 190 at the end of the day, and I think it'll be maybe 3 or 4 more months and we'll get that goal. And I'll be so excited because my previous best, it was 193 pounds, and that was 3 years ago, I think. After that, I didn't have the best life circumstances to focus on that goal, and I'm really happy that we're very close now. Number 9 was spread movement tips. And I'm doing this when I have genuine conversations with people that are actually interested in it, and not just forcing it on people that kind of didn't really express wanting help, or kind of not knowing what to do. I don't want to force people to change. I want it to come up naturally instead of me just acting like I know it all. I just try to give helpful tips when people seem to be needing some guidance. My next is 30 different plants per week, and consistently I'm getting right at 22 right now. Only the other things that are in my diet that I'm not counting for this list are the protein powders or drink, my tofu, because it's not really a whole food, and I want to count things that are whole ingredients and not processed. So actually, I do have a seed mix, and it has 3 different types of seeds in it. So technically I'm at 24, but we'll just say 22 so I can add more plant variety in there. It's just good for building your microbiome in your gut, and it's one of the best things for your health is diversity of your gut microbiome. I read a book listened to the audiobook called Fiber Fueled, and it's about how the good bacteria thrive on different types of fiber, and the greater variety of whole plant foods you eat, the better your health is. And I think the standard is around 30. So that's what I want to get up to. So I do have a tofu, rice, and broccoli meal. I'm not sure what I want to switch. I don't know if I want to switch out the tofu just because I am prioritizing muscle. But I think ways that I can add more variety is different types of fruit in my smoothie versus in my oatmeal. I kind of use similar ones in each, so maybe switching up some different fruit in my smoothie and keeping the same in my oatmeal at night. And another thing, I just added in cauliflower into the rice and bean soup that my grandma makes. So maybe just like maybe lentils or something else in there right now, just to bump up the variety. And then once a week, at least once a week, I get Bippy Bop, and it's like 9 different plants in there, and it's amazing. And I don't think I will ever get sick of that meal. Number 11 was take care of my belongings. And this is something that is catching up to me now. I used to be a slob and not pick up after myself, or I wouldn't care to clean until it got to a point where I was frustrated looking at it. And I have to give props to my brother. I think it might be motivated by his girlfriend, but he is doing a really good job on cleaning his dishes right after he uses them, and making sure his bed is made and his room is picked up and the living spaces are tidied. And I want to take after that more. I fell in the habit with a past relationship to just leave things and do them later, and that's not something that aligns with my values now. And I want to change that about myself, to pick up and take care of my belongings, clean out my car, take it for a car wash, and do the lawn, and do all these things to show appreciation for the things that I have. I have this checked off on my list because I'm taking huge steps towards this goal. It's something that'll be a continual process, but compared to where I was, I think I've made huge strides in this goal. Number 12 was build wealth knowledge. And I'm interested in being an entrepreneur and coaching people online. That's what my goal is right now. I'm not worried about financial wealth. I would much rather have spiritual wealth and spiritual knowledge, and that's more important to me right now. I know that if I get my spirit right, then things will come, and I'm not worried about the riches of this world. I'm worried about connections and spreading love and positivity and peace. Number 13 is track progress. And I do need to document more. I just thought of this now. I'm going to write down a structure of how I can categorize my progress. Once I get to 190 pounds in the morning, I'm going to do another posing video. I think I did one at 160 and 175. So another one at 190, and then 200. I think that'll be a good progression to see my proportions and how I'm doing on that. I really do like documenting every day on the cold exposure, and I'm really ready to get back to the tub, because that's when I feel like I was most consistent about my content and thinking of new ideas and thinking about topics to talk about. But I also just need to kind of suck it up and keep pushing forward even when it's not optimum conditions. Number 14 is comfortable being uncomfortable, and I love this part. I listened to David Goggins' book, and just being able to thrive in sucky conditions. And I think the biggest thing, my biggest teacher from this is the cold exposure and how I hated the cold. My body wasn't comfortable. I didn't want to do it. Every morning I had to struggle through it, and now it's just a routine, and I get in and I embrace it. And it's one of the best feelings when you get out, because you know you've accomplished something harder than anyone else. When I walk into work, I'm so thrilled to be alive. That's kind of what I feel like. And a lot of people are just rolled out of bed and came to work, and I think it's a life changer, honestly. So huge improvements in that. I have it checked off, because I'm encouraging myself to talk to new people, which was a big no-no in my past life. I did not like reaching out or calling people on the phone, or I didn't like the confrontation, not even argument wise, just like knowing that I have to react, and I always felt awkward, and I just didn't have any confidence in myself, and that's all breaking away now. Number 15 is nature explorer, and I have been appreciating and enjoying nature more, but I want to take some more adventures and go do a hike by myself, or go check out a new area. I don't want to stay in my little comfort zone like the last one talks about. And I need to get out of this habit that I need to go do it with someone else. I want to be able to go do these things by myself and just go explore. Number 16 was listener, and I've always felt like I was more of a listener than a talker, but I'm trying to continue conversations when I would used to just be quiet and the conversation just kind of ended. And I want to ask better questions, kind of going with that to continue the conversation. I used to just think I didn't know what to say instead of just saying what I thought. And I think that I want to be more of an active listener than just a listener while I process it, but they don't know what I'm processing. Number 17 is Aiden's alliteration for well-being, and there's 8 of them. So it's physically prepared, spiritually sound, emotionally effective, socially specific, financially free, occupationally open-minded, intellectually integrated, environmentally equipped. And this is something that I'll have to go back in my notes to see which book this was, but it basically, maybe it wasn't a book. I have it written down, but it has the different areas of your life. Oh, I remember. It's in my well-being journal that I used to write in. I used to do it every day, and it was a big help for me at the beginning. And now I think I can just think about those things consciously instead of having to be reminded. But I think these are all of the ways that I can keep all of my well-being under track and not be stressed or have a lacking area in my life. This little alliteration was a big breakthrough in my well-being. Number 18 is master my learning. And I used to think that I was just an auditory learner, which obviously you're not just one, but that's what I thought my primary was. But I think I'm more of a visual learner than I thought. I used to always be able to sit in class and not look at the screen, and I could just listen to it, and that's mainly how I learned. If I heard them say it, I could remember those pieces. But I think obviously all of the three styles of learning, the kinetic, auditory, and visual, are all important. But something about reading an actual book versus listening to it, you catch different things and your mind works in a different way. So I've fallen back in love with reading, and I think it's something that I wish schools didn't force to read. I wish they had a more individual type of approach where maybe the teacher helped you find a book that you liked, and then you got to read that book, and I don't know, something along those lines. But reading is definitely something that is important to me, and I hope that I can instill that in my kids, to read and to just enjoy the whole process of reading and learning about history and activating your creative mind and just appreciating all of life has to offer. Number 19 is follow my intuitions. And I'm way more aware. I'm way more aware of those tugs in life where I feel compelled to do something, like to help someone or to reach out if they look lost or those kinds of things. And my gut feeling is way stronger than I think I used to recognize. Number 20 is no red flags. This is mainly for my future partner, which I know it will come in time. And I'm not really a big fan of dating. I want to find someone who has my same values and someone who's open-minded and wants to improve. But also no red flags for friends. There's been a few people that have come in and out of my life, and at certain points in the beginning, I thought they could be a really good friend, and they have things that I can learn from, and I have things that they can learn from. And then you just kind of see things that you don't align with. And it's not that they're a terrible person or anything like that, but certain things just don't align with people, and it's okay to let those people go and take what they've given you, and hopefully they take what you've given them. And it's a lot easier for me to let people go than I used to. I used to hold on to friends, especially if we actually had a connection, and I would hold on to them even if they didn't align with things that I felt in my heart. Number 21 is be a savage. And I think this has shown up the most in taking more courageous paths and standing up for what I believe in and not conforming to what other people say is accepted or sorry, I'm blanking with so many thoughts. But it's something that is important to me because I used to just think, oh, everyone's feelings matter and I need to have everyone have a certain image of me, and it's just not true. Some people are not going to agree with you, and that's okay. And I used to be afraid of that because I didn't want to argue with people, which I know I don't have to, but I didn't want to say my opinion and it opposed their opinion. And I think that was just a lie because I wasn't being true to myself. Number 22 is breathe in positive and out negative, meaning I want to be taking in positive things, doing positive habits, continuing positive things for myself, speaking positive, taking in positive from others, and pushing out, not into the world, but letting go of the negative things and not concentrating on the negatives or the negative habits that people have or the negative situations that I find myself in, finding the positive and holding onto that and letting the negative just disappear. It's something that helped my mentality more than anything else. Was I always strived to be an optimist, but I think especially after a breakup I got pretty cynical. That might not be the right word. I'm blanking on the word, but I always thought bad things were going to happen, and I thought it's not, pessimist is obviously the opposite of optimism, but I got very overwhelmed with negative thoughts, and just focusing on the positive and being grateful for what's good in your life completely changed the game. And going into the next one, number 23, is win mentality. And as of now, I know that I can do all things through Christ. He gives me strength. He helps me on my journey. He's strong when I'm weak. And I'm so grateful for His grace and mercy and the joy that He gives me. Reading the Bible has helped me learn new things that I wouldn't have learned, and it's helping me to accomplish goals and to stay consistent and to learn from our history, regardless of what is true or not. Now we live in a world that's full of misinformation, and everyone kind of thinks they have it figured out, but no one really has it figured out. We all have different ideas, and we've all made man-made thinking, and everyone has their own experience. And I think your mindset and your thoughts create your reality. If you think everything is going bad in your life, things will pop up that are bad and you will focus on them. But if you focus on what you're grateful for and your goals, those will come into your life. It's about switching to the positive and focusing on that and letting go of the negative. If you want to win and you put forth effort, you will win. It might not be the way you want to, but you will move forward towards your goals. And it's so amazing when you keep setting goals for yourself and you accomplish them, and it's like a snowball effect, and you can do anything you want in life, and it's about what you focus on that creates the reality. And I heard a sermon, and it was on your expectations create your reality, your experience. And it's so true. If you go to a sports game and you expect your team to win and they win, you're going to be so excited. You're going to be thrilled. But if you expect your team to win and they lose, you're going to be bummed out. And it's the same reality for everyone. The same thing happened, but you have a different expectation, so your experience is totally different. And I think that's so applicable to life. If you expect things to go good and they go bad, you're not going to be happy with it. But if you focus on winning, regardless of the outcomes, you're going to continually go towards the winning route and the winning path. And there's going to be valleys and there's going to be mountains, and you have to continue to shoot for your goals. And it's not about accomplishing every single goal, but it's about improving yourself and continuing to wake up and trying to be a better version of yourself. That's about all I have. My throat is going sore. I want to thank you guys for all the support, and I love this journey that I'm on. And if I could encourage you to take a self-improvement year, I would 10 out of 10 recommend it. This is the best time in my life, and I'm so grateful that I get to improve myself, and that even when I desire other things in other people's lives, I know that this is my journey, and this is where I become the best version of myself. And I hope you guys can too. Please spread peace, love, and positivity. Have a great day.